The insistent sound rushed in and out of consciousness. Elizabeth opened her eyes and listened. That was it, the bear whimpering. Again, Anna had locked him in the room. Elizabeth twisted around, trying to find a comfortable position. The nursery where 8-year-old Anna slept was on the first floor, and her parents' bedroom was on the second floor. Even so, the outrages of the locked dog could be heard clearly. Elizabeth still hoped to sleep, but thoughts bombarded her mind more and more insistently. Bear, a young purebred dog, was trained and understood commands perfectly. He never whined or barked in the house, except when Anna took him into her bedroom and locked him in there with her. She always said she took the bear with her so she wouldn't be afraid. Finally, the nursery door slammed and footsteps were heard, light baby and dog paws clawing with uncut claws on the laminate flooring. Here we go, off to the living room to sleep again, Elizabeth thought, feeling her consciousness gently fall into slumber from the silence that ensued. When Elizabeth awoke, as she expected, she found her daughter curled up on the couch and the bear napping on the floor next to her. She only shook her head tiredly and left to make breakfast, giving the girl a chance to sleep. Reflection swept over her again. They had moved into this house only 3 months ago. It was a beautiful, solid house that had been hastily sold due to relocation, as the ad had said. The former owners partially left the furniture and even household appliances, which was very helpful to the young family. Anna was given a warm and bright room on the first floor, which had been a nursery before. There remained a spacious cupboard of bright colors built into the wall. The rest was bought by the new owners. Everything was so wonderful at first. After a cramped 2-bedroom, the house seemed just huge. But after a couple of weeks, Anna developed these strange fears. She started to be afraid to sleep in her room. The first few nights, she would just run into her parents' bedroom and scream frantically that there was someone in her closet. Then her father, grabbing a small hatchet, would run into the nursery and turn everything upside down, and found no one. Then the parents decided that Anna had mental problems and took their daughter to a child psychologist. The specialist came to the conclusion that it is just an anxiety disorder against the background of the move, and prescribed light sedatives. But no pills, conversations, and persuasions could not make Anna sleep in her bedroom. She kept saying that there was someone in the closet, someone black, that he was watching her, that he wanted to harm her. Anna began to take the dog with her, but he also did not want to spend the night in the nursery, and despite his restraint and manners, whined and scratched the door, until Anna, together with him, did not go to the living room. Of course, everything could be written off as a child's imagination or anxiety disorders, but every day, Anna became more and more depressed and frightened. "Mom," her daughter's voice made Elizabeth wake up and come out of her thoughts. "Mom, can I go to Grandma's house for the night? I feel so safe at her place." Elizabeth tried again to start a long and fruitless conversation about the nursery being the most wonderful room, that it was nice there, that Anna just had a wild imagination. But the girl cut her off abruptly. "Mommy, he is there. Someone alien. Someone evil. If you were in my place, you'd be just as scared. I can't take it anymore. I'm scared there even during the day." After saying that, the girl cried and ran outside. And Elizabeth wondered again. So maybe this would help? She would spend a few nights in the nursery and prove to her daughter that it was nice and pleasant to be there. Her husband fully supported Elizabeth's idea, and right that night, she decided to sleep in the nursery, and Anna was released to her grandmother's house for 2 nights. Elizabeth turned out the light and climbed into Anna's crib. It was a good thing they'd bought it to grow into. It was big enough to fit her, but it was a little narrow in width. Finding a comfortable position on her back, Elizabeth lay with her eyes open, as always immersed in her thoughts. The nursery was warm, smelled of new carpeting, and the glare of the streetlight created bizarre shadows on the walls. A pleasant drowsiness closed the woman's eyelids. And no wonder, for the time was approaching midnight. Suddenly, a strange sound made her open her eyes. What was that? A sigh or a whisper? It was close by, as if someone else was in the room. No, it couldn't be the dog. She was closing the door. Was it just a whisper? Most likely. Elizabeth closed her eyes again, but the same sound came again. This time, Elizabeth recognized it as soft words in a language she didn't recognize. And at that moment, she was as horrified as if she had plunged into an icy pond, as if every cell in her body had been petrified. Click. The cabinet knob. It was definitely the cabinet knob. The sound came from there. Elizabeth could only turn her head slightly in the direction of the sound. But everything was the same. Maybe the old furniture was drying out? Elizabeth's brain frantically searched for a rational explanation. But then there was a tentative and prolonged creak. The closet door opened slowly, as if guided by someone's hand. Elizabeth, shaking with fever, continued to gaze into the twilight of the nursery. The furniture must be drying out, she reassured herself, but then her eye caught some movement. At first, barely distinguishable, and then, from behind the closet door appeared something black, like the head of a cat or a little man. It appeared and froze. And at that moment, Elizabeth realized very clearly that this something was staring at her with anger and hatred. And then the instinct of self-preservation took over, and Elizabeth, letting out the loudest scream she could, jumped up and ran to her bedroom, to her husband. Elizabeth remembered the rest of the night very vaguely. Her husband's frightened, sleepy face, the lights in the house, the howling and barking of the bear, the brandy she drank straight from the bottle. After all, adults endure such phenomena much harder than children. Children only learn the world, encountering the paranormal, and adults, at this moment, their world breaks. How the further fate of the heroes, I cannot say. I only know that Anna never slept in that room again. The family moved out a week later to her parents', and the house was put up for sale.